97.4% will fail this rare British classic car quiz. For each car shown, see if you can name it before the multiple choice options appear. Score 5 points for each correct answer without hints, and 2 points if you need the options but still guess it right. Can you guess them all? Let's start. Round 1. Identify this car. A. 1961 Vauxhall Victor, B. 1960 Ford Anglia, C. 1967 Hillman Minx, or D. 1967 Austin A40. The answer is B. 1960 Ford Anglia. The 1960 Ford Anglia is a true British motoring icon. It marked the moment Ford went modern and mass market, paving the way for the Cortina and Escort. It is most famously featured in Harry Potter as the flying car use. Round 2. A. 1969 Ford Escort, B. 1960 Austin 1100, C. 1966 Vauxhall Viva, or D. 1966 Hillman Hunter. The correct answer is A. 1969 Ford Escort. The Ford Escort Mark I was launched in January 1968 as a replacement for the Anglia, and by 1969 it was already a bestseller. Are you nailing this quiz? If you like this quiz, consider to subscribe and hit the bell notification if you don't want to miss the next fun quiz. Round 3. Can you name this one? A. 1960 Morris Mini, B. 1963 Hillman Imp, C. 1963 Vauxhall Viva, or D. 1960 Austin Mini. The answer is D. 1960 Austin Mini. The 1960 Austin Mini is the beginning of a motoring revolution. Fun, practical, cheeky, and utterly British. Launched in 1959, the Austin Mini and its badge-engineered twin, the Morris Mini Minor, was the brainchild of Sir Alec Isigonis, designed to offer maximum interior space in a tiny package. The Mini's layout became the blueprint for most small cars for the next 50-plus years. Round 4. A. 1963 Hillman Minx, B. 1962 Ford Cortina, C. 1961 Vauxhall Victor, or D. 1963 Ford Corsair. The correct answer is D. 1963 Ford Corsair. The Ford Consul Corsair was launched in 1963 as a stylish mid-size saloon to sit between the Anglia and Zephyr in the Ford UK lineup. Initially sold as the Consul Corsair, it dropped the Consul name in 1964. The Consul prefix was used only in the UK and New Zealand. Ford wanted the Corsair to be the upmarket darling, but buyers preferred the cheaper, lighter Cortina, which outsold it massively. The Corsair retained its Ford Corsair branding in nearly all markets where it was sold. Round 5. Can you name this one? A. 1963 Hillman Imp, B. 1960 Mini Cooper, C. 1960 Morris Minor, or D. 1968 Austin A35. The answer is A. 1963 Hillman Imp. Launched in May 1963, the Hillman Imp was Rootes Group's bold response to the BMC Mini. It was Britain's first mass-produced rear-engined car, and the first to be built at a brand-new factory in Linwood, Scotland, part of a government plan to boost Scottish industry. The 1963 Hillman Imp is a true British underdog, which may have been outshone by the Mini, but it's now celebrated for its uniqueness, rally pedigree, and what might have been charm. A real favourite in classic car clubs and still raced in historic rally and hill climb events today. What about you? Which car did you grow up in? Share your memories in the comments. Round 6. A. 1966 Ford Cortina, B. 1961 Morris Oxford, C. 1967 Vauxhall Victor, or D. 1966 Hillman Hunter. The correct answer is D. 1966 Hillman Hunter. The Hillman Hunter debuted in 1966 as part of the Arrow range from the Rootes Group, designed to replace the aging Hillman Super Minx. Across its production life, the Hunter range was sold under at least 6 different badges and in dozens of global markets, often with only slight trim or grille differences. Sold as a Hillman, Humber, Singer, Chrysler and Sunbeam, often simultaneously, depending on trim level, market, and executive decision. Round 7. Can you name this one? A. 1965 Ford Cortina, B. 1961 Vauxhall Victor, C. 1961 Morris Oxford, or D. 1961, Hillman Minx? The answer is A. 1965 Ford Cortina. The 1965 Ford Cortina Mark I represents the pinnacle of British everyman motoring. Reliable, affordable, stylish, and secretly fast, if you picked the right one. The Cortina was assembled or sold in New Zealand, South Africa, Ireland, Australia, and more, with small local tweaks, and would go on to become the best-selling car in Britain through the late 60s and 70s. See our other quiz with the 1970s bestsellers. Round 8. A. 1962 BMC 1100, B. 1969 Austin 1300, C. 1963 Hillman Imp, or D. 1962 MG 1100. The correct answer is D. 1962 MG 1100. The MG 1100 was launched in August 1962, one of the first variants in the ADO 16 range developed by the British Motor Corporation, BMC. The MG 1100 was part of BMC's massively badge-engineered ADO 16 family. This car set the standard for small family saloons in the 1960s and became Britain's best-selling car throughout much of the decade across all ADO 16 variants. Round 9. Can you name this one? A. 1961 Hillman Minx, B. 1961 Ford Consul, C. 1960 Vauxhall Victor F, or D. 1961 Morris Oxford. The answer is C. 1960 Vauxhall Victor F. The Vauxhall Victor F series, often called FA, was launched in 1957 and ran until October 1961, when it was replaced by the more restrained FB Victor. It was Vauxhall's attempt to offer a modern, stylish, affordable, small family car, and it quickly became one of Britain's best-selling export vehicles, particularly to Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the Caribbean. Unfortunately, the Victors of this era became notorious for corrosion. Round 10, final round. A. 1967 Ford Anglia 105e, B. 1963 Vauxhall Viva, C. 1967 Austin A40, or D. 1960 Triumph Herald. The correct answer is B. 1963 Vauxhall Viva. The Vauxhall Viva HA was launched in September 1963, the first Viva and Vauxhall's first new small car since World War II. It was built to compete with the Ford Anglia, Austin A40 and Hillman Imp, offering modern styling, affordability and ease of use. The Viva was a big deal for Vauxhall. It marked their re-entry into the small car market, which had become incredibly competitive in the early 60s. We will now move to the bestsellers of the 1970s. Round 1. A. 1973 Hamba Scepter Mark III, B. 1971 Morris Marina, C. 1974 Austin 1800, or D. 1970 Ford Cortina Mark II. Alright, the correct answer is A. 1973 Hamba Scepter Mark III. The Roots exemplifies badge engineering with 19 distinct versions produced. The Hillman Hunter was the most popular version of the Arrow, and the GLS version was the most successful and is highly sought after today. Earlier Humber models were often used by the British government, including the Humber Super Snipe, which was a favourite of Winston Churchill during World War II. Round 2. A. 1971 Vauxhall Forenza, B. 1973 Ford Capri, C. 1972 Triumph Dolomite Sprint, or D. 1971 Austin Marina Coupe. The correct answer is B. 1973 Ford Capri. The Ford Capri was marketed as a European equivalent to the Ford Mustang, offering similar style and performance at a much lower price. In the 1975 film Brannigan, John Wayne's character commandeers a Ford Capri in a daring chase through London. One of the most memorable scenes features the Capri making a dramatic jump over the opening Tower Bridge, a cinematic moment that showcased the car's agility and cemented its place in film history. Round 3. A. 1975 Ford Escort Mark I, B. 1970 Vauxhall Viva, C. 1971 Morris Marina, or D. 1970 Hillman Avenger. If you picked D, 1970 Hillman Avenger, you are right. Over 750,000 Avengers were eventually built, and many were exported to America, where they were badged as the Plymouth Cricket. In mainland Europe, Scandinavia was also a popular destination for the Avenger, where the Sunbeam badge was used. The Avenger's name was chosen to convey strength and resilience, fitting its role as a tough, everyday car. If you like this quiz, please subscribe if you want to play the next quiz. Round 4. A. 1971 Austin 1300, B. 1979 Morris Marina, C. 1971 BMC 1100, 1300, or D. 1974 Austin 1800. The correct answer is C. 1971 BMC 1100, 1300. The last version of the ADO 16 to be built in Britain was the Vanden Plas luxury version, which rolled off the production line in June 1974. Princess Anne owned a Vanden Plas Princess 1300, showcasing the car's appeal to British royalty. Many public sector organisations, including the police and government departments, use the ADO 16 for daily transport, further cementing its status as a trusted British car. How many have you got right so far? Round 5. A. 1973 Austin Allegro, B. 1975 Morris Marina, C. 1975 Ford Escort Mark II, or D. 1971 Vauxhall Viva. The correct one is A. 1973 Austin Allegro. The Austin Allegro, often dubbed the upturned bathtub due to its rounded design, still managed to achieve notable sales figures. In 1974, it secured the 6th spot in the UK's best-selling cars and climbed to 5th place in 1975. In July 2008, a poll conducted by The Sun newspaper branded the Austin Allegro as the worst British car ever made. Despite this notorious reputation, the Allegro achieved significant sales, with over 640,000 units sold during its production run from 1973 to 1983. What do you think is the worst British car ever made? Round 6. A. 1970 Ford Cortina Mark I, B. 1979 Hillman Avenger, C. 1975 Morris Marina, or D. 1970 Vauxhall Viva HC. The right one is D. 1970 Vauxhall Viva HC. When the Viva HC was released, it became the fastest-selling Vauxhall ever sold in the UK. The car, however, was not so quick. In Canada, the Viva was rebranded as the Forenza and sold through Pontiac Buick dealerships, a common practice of badge engineering. Unfortunately, the Forenza faced significant quality issues, leading to consumer dissatisfaction and protests, which ultimately resulted in its withdrawal from the Canadian market after just 2 years. Round 7. A. 1979 Hillman Avenger, B. 1975 Ford Escort Mark II, C. 1975 Morris Marina, or D. 1971 Vauxhall Viva. If you picked C, 1975 Morris Marina, you are right. The Morris Marina, launched in 1971, was developed by British Leyland (BL) to compete with the Ford Cortina, Vauxhall Viva, and Hillman Avenger in the highly competitive British family car market. The Morris Marina, produced from 1971 to 1980, has often been labelled as one of the worst cars ever made. Despite this reputation, it was among the UK's best-selling cars during its production run, with over 800,000 units sold. Round 8. A. 1970 Morris Mini Cooper Mark III, B. 1970 Austin Mini Cooper Mark III, C. 1969 Riley Elf, or D. 1969 Wolseley Hornet. The correct one is B. 1970 Austin Mini Cooper Mark III. Beyond its iconic role in the Italian Job, the Mini gained renewed cinematic fame in 2002's The Bourne Identity. In this film, Matt Damon's character, Jason Bourne, commandeers a weathered 1989 Mini Mayfair, showcasing the car's agility during a thrilling chase through Paris. Historically, the Mini was celebrated as a classless vehicle, appealing to a diverse range of drivers, from students to pop stars. Its unique design and spirited performance made it a favorite among various social circles. Notably, celebrities like the Beatles and Madonna owned Minis, often customizing them to reflect their personal style. The Mini Cooper brand was revived in the 2000s by BMW, who continued to celebrate the original's sporty spirit in the modern Mini range. Round 9. A. 1971, Vauxhall Viva HC. B. 1973, Austin Allegro. C. 1970, Hillman Avenger. Or D. 1974, Ford Escort Mark I. The correct answer is D. 1974, Ford Escort Mark I. In the 1970s, Ford's Escorts and Cortinas were the most popular police cars in Britain and were a common sight in the mirrors of other Escorts and Cortinas. While the Escort didn't gain significant traction in Australia during this era, it found a loyal following in New Zealand, maintaining strong sales throughout the decade. Round 10. Now the best-sold car of the 1970s. A. 1971 Vauxhall Victor FD. B. 1970 Ford Cortina Mark III. C. 1979 Hillman Hunter. Or D. 1979 Austin Maxi. The right one is B. 1970 Ford Cortina Mark III. The 2006 television series Life on Mars reignited interest in the Ford Cortina, particularly the Mark III model driven by DCI Gene Hunt. This portrayal enhanced the Cortina's cool factor, even more so than during its original release, when its Coke bottle styling received mixed reactions. Produced across 5 generations from 1962 to 1982, the Cortina became a ubiquitous presence on British roads. The final iteration, introduced in 1979, was officially named the Cortina 80. Now, how well did you remember these classics? Share your score in the comments below. Click here if you think you can ace a more challenging quiz, and don't forget to subscribe for more fun classic car quizzes.